We have two guests who are joining us in the Situation Room this morning. Peter Kimathi is the brand manager at a company called Ekta Kenya, and Charles Oloo is a suspension system expert from Oloo Limited. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Karibuni sana to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Yeah.
That's the hot seat of the Situation Room. And, we talked about suspension. Inafaa you. Inakaa suspended.
Suspended.
Suspended. Charles, of course, you have to explain to us what suspension is all about, what it entails when it comes to motor vehicles. We know shokom sobas and other things.
Okay. The steering wheel.
Yeah.
You know steering wheel?
Yes.
Okay.
Alafu nasikia bushes, you'll tell us what suspension is all about. Karibuni sana.
Thank you.
City, say hi to Charles Kimathi.
Charles Oloo.
No, to Peter Kimathi.
Yes, see? Peter Kimathi
Yes.
from Kubu.
Yes, from Gubu.
Written Kubu, but pronounced
Gobo.
yes.
Gobo.
Ebu msalimie kikwao.
Mugamano.
See?
No, you say with your name on your Ndu.
He said, it's the intonation. I am Muga. That's my name. But Muga is now a greeting.
Got
Spelled
it.
the same, but
You also got Muga as a name.
Yes, but you guys have a double A.
Yeah.
See, so one could assume I come from Meru, and yet I don't. But I know where Meru is.
Right. The day's proverb.
Our proverbs for the day come from the country of Guinea. To have two eyes is a cause for pride, but to have one eye is better than having none.
To have two eyes is a cause for pride, but to have one eye is better than having none.
Yes.
Charles, what do you interpret from this proverb?
Definitely I believe that you better have even one eye. At least it can help you see something, not just rather than just losing all, you become blind.
Peter?
I think in most societies, plenty is cause for pride and untoward behaviors and everything else you might think about. But just enough, I think, is humbling in the way people think or in the way we see things, our life itself. Yeah.
Having the little that you have should be
Cause for celebration.
cause for celebration.
Yeah.
You must not have both. Having both is good, but just having half.
Because the alternative is having none.
No.
Having none. Good one. Thank you, Peter. What is Ekta?
Okay. Thank you, Eric. ECTA stands for Engineering, Construction, Transport and Agriculture. Those are the business lines that ECTA is involved in. But in Kenya, it is the holding company for these major companies. Subaru Kenya, it is the most known, I think, due to the brand strength.
Yeah.
And then we have Jack Motors. And then we have Oriel Limited, the suspension people. And those are the three companies I think we'll be talking about today that form ECTA Group.
What is Jack Motors? Because
How do you spell this Jack?
Jack is JAC. It's a long Chinese name, abbreviated as Jack. And Hui Yangui Automobile Company. And Hui, in China they say Hangui, but spelled ANHUI.
And Hui Yangui.
Anhui Yangui Automobile Company.
Automobile company.
Yes.
What vehicles do they have on the road?
They have a wide range. I think about 22 models. But in Kenya, we have 5 actually different models. We have double cab pickups, both petrol and electric. We pride ourselves as being the pioneers of the fully electric double cab pickup in Kenya. We also have a 3-ton fully electric powered truck. And then we have a diesel pickup called the T8, 2-liter engine. So if you look at the pickup, we have both the petrol and the full electric version. When you go to the trucks, the same. There's the electric version and the petrol version. And we got 7-ton and 12-ton trucks as well. So it's a wide range, but in Kenya, we got double cab pickups and the light commercial vehicles. Yeah, trucks.
Oh. Both using fossil and electric vehicles.
Yes.
Okay. You'll tell us more about it.
Yeah.
Charles.
Yes.
Suspension. What is suspension when it comes to motor vehicles?
Suspension, when it comes to motor vehicle, you see, most of the people just think that suspension is just only shocks and springs, but a suspension comprises several components underneath the vehicle. And it comes on shocks, it comes on coil springs, it comes on bushes, steering, the steering racks, tires. So these are all the components that offer you ride comfort, steering control, and even passenger comfort as well.
So even tires are considered as part of suspension?
Yes, tires are considered as part of suspension.
I see. So it's the entire underneath of a car,
Yes.
besides the engine and the gearbox.
Apart from the engine and
Everything
the gearbox,
else.
the rest, the bushes, the tie rod ends, the rack ends, the bushings, even the steering rack is part of the suspension.
Essentially, it's the whole car minus the engine
And the body.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I may interject there, it's the old everything that carries the everything called the car. Yeah, all that system connected now to the main body.
Yes, yes.
Is what we call suspension.
Suspension.
Yeah, we have customers who come to our workshop. They had about the Mueller test, the machine that just vibrates and all that. Test these shocks for me, but actually it gives more than shocks parameters about what is happening to your suspension. Yeah.
Shocks parameter.
Okay. No, it has got more parameters, like he's mentioned, bushes, shocks themselves.
It's a special suspension systems testing machine that gives you a specific percentage of the remaining lifespan of the shock. So you can get to know, you can plan well on how, on when you are going to replace your shocks next time.
Yeah.
And it is the only one of its kind.
Does it only work with the vehicles that fall under your brand?
No.
Okay.
It is for all vehicles. Every vehicle must have a suspension for it to maintain stability on the road.
Okay. So if I brought my 1950-year-old car to the, stop smiling, to your garage, it would be able to,
Yes.
the diagnostics will be the same.
You know, this is just it is just a shock testing machine.
That's it.
It won't detect which year of the vehicle is the vehicle was manufactured. It is just there to test shocks and to give you the feedback.
So why does it matter where you get it? What does one differ one to the other? That I can just still, so my shocks are worn out, I need to get, or my suspension has a problem here or there. What does it matter where you get it, how you get it done, how you get it fixed? Why should it matter one place to the other?
You know, initially there was a number of people that are in the aftermarket spare parts business are not focusing on a specific line. They are just offer solution to any form of maybe body part that you need. But Oriel, we came in to seal the gap and to specialize just specifically on the suspension, and that is our major line is shocks and coil springs, and these are premium products that are meant for local roads here. They come with even warranties, and we also, before we do this, normally, just as Peter said, we do what we call inspection first, and we give you the right feedback of the requirements.
What's the difference between shocks and coil springs?
Okay, shocks, they will always help you on the rebound and the compression. And it helps in the absorption of the shock, just as the name. The coil springs, they suspend the vehicle. The coil springs come in 3 different stages. There is a lowered coil spring, mostly come with the cars from the ex-Japan ones or imports. not only Japan, even from Europe and other sections of the world. And then there are standard coil springs. These are the springs that will at least give you a bit of clearance to just match our local roads. And then there's a segment of raised coil springs, or what people call heavy-duty coil springs. These are mainly meant for those people that want to carry more load and even have a higher family number.
When you hear people talking about, the car that came in, it was too low, so I went and put spacers on the car. What does that mean?
It's still to achieve the same goal, but now it is different because spacers are not fitted as original equipment replacement. Spacers are just fitted to give you a short-term solution for your problem, but they distort the vehicle and even make it more unstable.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what you'd advise is, instead of putting spacers, you go and change the coil spring.
Yes.
And put the standard coil spring, as you said.
You see, the good thing with replacing a coil spring is that you are replacing as original equipment, not as just an extra. Yeah.
Something I'd like to understand. When one hears of shocks, one assumes that all shocks do the same thing and they do the same thing in the same way. But from the way you're talking, Charles, it is clear that is not the case. So,
I mentioned something. The issue of spacers is actually illegal. It makes the vehicle very unstable.
it's illegal.
Yeah.
Then how is it that people still
You'll
sell
have
them?
problems with the insurance, for instance, like for our case, warranties won't apply if you have an accident. So it is highly discouraged because that's not the design of the vehicle. However, what he's saying is we have specifically designated springs and shocks to help you increase that clearance, if so you wish, without compromising the stability of the vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do I hear you to be saying, therefore, that if my car is low, the clearance is low, and I want to raise it, there are shocks that can do that?
Yes.
And there are springs that can...
Springs and shocks combined, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Springs and shocks combined
Yes.
can do that?
Yes.
What's the maximum height it can raise the car to while keeping it stable?
Each and every car has got its own specifications. We've got cars we have European cars and Japanese cars, and also now the Chinese cars in the market. And there's just up to a certain, we go as per manufacturing specification. We don't just race cars for the sake of racing it. And for Japanese cars, depending with the customer requirements, it is not supposed to go beyond 2.5 centimeters when you fit the springs. For European cars, it has to be between 1 to 1.5. The reason why this happens is that some of these vehicles, they are dynamic, and most of the European cars are high-performing vehicles. And the more you race it, the more you compromise the stability of the car. Yeah. So it has to remain low to accommodate the specifications of the speed that we're getting.
Do I hear to be saying that some of these cars that by their very nature seem to be raised high are less stable than the ones where the center of gravity is which are lower? They're closer to the ground than the other ones?
Yeah, that also works.
Oh dear.
So then why do so many people go ahead and do that? Because usually people do it because, unfortunately, the poor state of roads, so they don't want to, obviously you don't want to graze your vehicle on the road, right? So that's where you go in and you have that done, so that obviously the vehicle is raised.
Yeah.
And that is one of the first things that your mech will tell you. We can go ahead and do this. But now here you are and you're debunking that thing that everybody has done for the last I don't know how many years. And we're saying essentially that you're compromising the stability of the vehicle by doing that.
And that it's illegal. That's the thing. It's from what Peter said, not only is it illegal.
It is lack of knowledge in this, especially on the suspension industry.
Yeah.
A number of people might think that just by racing, a car must have a specified rating in terms of racing it. You cannot just take a Land Cruiser coil spring and fit on a Toyota Corolla coil spring. Definitely, it will not work. That's why I started by saying that we fit these parts as original equipment replacement. And that's why Oriel Limited came in to fill this gap, to offer what we call the good ride control, which will offer comfort to the passengers and also offer stability to the
What did you call it? Good ride?
control.
Good ride control.
Yeah.
And what exactly is that?
The good ride control comprises of steering stability and passenger comfort.
Okay.
As much as there's a stability on the car has a stability, you must still find it comfortable for you.
The company Oriel.
Yeah.
So, what you specialize in is dealing with suspensions.
Yes.
That's what. Is there a specific brand, or do you deal with every kind of? Let's be specific. Say shock absorbers.
Yeah.
Do you have every shock absorber known to mankind, or are they just some specific shock absorbers that you deal in?
Okay. At Oriel, we have our specific brands. We have Monroe shock absorbers. Monroe originally is from Michigan, USA. And then they have plants across the globe. And that is our major product, and it is a premium product. And then when it comes to coil springs, we source our coil springs from King Springs, Australia. And we don't just source them. We give them our specification for local roads, because it has to be something that has been done research here and is accommodative for our local motorists.
And they all come with some guarantee.
Yeah.
Is it called a warranty?
King Springs come with lifetime guarantee. Yeah.
Lifetime.
Yes.
I mean, whose lifetime?
Lifetime of the vehicle.
Maybe to add to, okay,
Yes.
sorry, let me finish first.
Yes.
To add to what Charles is saying is that there's this conception that because we are allied to Subaru, we only specialize in Subaru suspension parts. But it's actually for all models that are available in this country. Okay, so we are in touch with the manufacturers for those suspension, and then we are their distributors here in Kenya. Yeah.
But Peter, I would assume that shock absorbers are shock absorbers, or does this vehicle that you specialize in, are the shock absorbers specifically made for Subarus?
Yeah, exactly. And it's not
Specifically made for Subaru.
Yeah.
not only for Subaru, it is for specific model. Okay, like I said, during vehicle development, there's all, then to do the weight of the vehicle, and like the clearance intended, and so they are designed and manufactured to specific for specific use and model. So. Same for other models, other vehicle models. So each model has its own specifications of shock absorbers and just like other components. And now changing is compromises the very integrity intended. Because is the weight the same? No. Is the say camper the same? No. Is the design of the suspension the same? No. Okay, because you have like what we call Mark fashion suspension. Okay, you want to fit the shocks intended for the Mark fashion suspension on, say, a lift spring vehicle, like the suspension find in the pickup.
Yes. Stop.
Yeah.
What is a leaf spring?
Bas.
Thank you very much.
We came from coils to leaves.
We now coils to shock absorber. Now we are leaves.
Yeah. Now, leaves is actually does the work that the coil spring does. Okay. A leaf is what you know what a coil spring is.
Yes.
So far, we've been
Now,
told.
That thing that
is
circular thing.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, so it carries the weight of the vehicle and allows the bumpiness and all that kind of thing. And then the shock controls that. Now the leaf spring is what you find or see in most pickups at the rear. Okay, long.
That long metallic thing.
Those many
Many of them.
There are many of them.
different lengths.
Different
and
lengths.
curved.
So it does the same thing as a shock absorber.
Yeah. Not as
No,
a coil
as a spring.
coil spring.
Coil spring.
Yeah.
Lift springs are mostly meant for carrying loads and heavy weights, because a coil spring, when exposed to much weight, they always tend to compress and even touch each other. But the lift springs can carry weight. That's why you will find lift springs on trucks, on buses, and even on mostly pickups.
So what is it supposed to do? I mean, it's there so that you can carry, but what does it do essentially? Are we talking about it protecting the vehicle then from the potential danger of the heavy load? Or are you saying that then the vehicle can then go for longer because it has this spring, then it can carry this weight for longer, even if you're going through rough terrain, whatever?
Yeah, exactly.
I could be a mechanic.
Exactly, but now for commercial purposes.
Right.
Yeah.
So leaf spring, coil spring, each of those requires a shock absorber.
Yeah,
shock
they all
absorber.
require the shock absorber.
And so you can't have the leaf spring.
Without a shock.
That one I've gotten, but so you can't have it with the coil spring.
Leaf and
Leaf and
coil.
coil will not go together.
they-
have
They cannot go
They
together.
cannot go
But
together.
there,
No.
but there are cars that you'll find that on the front side it is using coil spring, and the back side it is leaf springs.
Why?
Just because of the weight that especially Land Cruisers, the ones that you see with the tour farms.
Off-road
Yes.
ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
All of them. They have a coil spring in the front to offer. Coil spring offers more comfort
Okay.
than the leaf springs. Yeah. So the leaf spring, the reason why the leaf spring is there is just because you'll find that there are passengers at the back, and at the same times there are luggages and
Yeah.
several things. So it is only the leaf spring that can accommodate that.
Okay, and so for the comfort that you speak of, is the comfort for the folks who are sitting in the vehicle, or is it comfort for the vehicle itself not to be harmed by terrain, as it were, or by the load?
It is both.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it is both. The passengers have to
both
feel the comfort, and the vehicle also has to be comfortable.
Yes, think of
And the,
the
ba- and,
coil
the, and the
springs.
bags of potatoes
Yeah.
Inside.
inside.
Now, think of the wheelbarrow when you push it over bump. It's very hard.
Yes, it
Yeah.
bounces.
Right now, the springs, coil spring or leaf springs, will allow that bounce. Okay, but
Absorb
that
the
bounce
bounce.
must be controlled. That's the job of the shock absorber.
absorber.
So you suggest
to align,
Peter that wheelbarrow should have springs.
if need be.
At least some form of shock absorber.
So absorber. Yeah, because for clarity, when the shock absorbers are worn out, what happens? The vehicle
Yeah.
keeps
Yeah,
dancing on
wheelbarrows
the
in,
road.
I saw some wheelbarrows in Congo that have shock absorbers. They are used to transport people.
I
The ones,
see.
the wooden wheelbarrows.
For comfort.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
to offer them, and it is one shock absorber.
Okay. You've actually touched on something, how to know when your shocks are worn out.
Yes.
And then you come now to Oriole. We have our two guests in the studio. Hey.
CT, sorry.
We have two guests. Peter Kimathi is the brand manager at Ekta Kenya. Ekta is the holding company for Subaru Kenya, Jack Motors, and Oriole Limited. And we have Charles Oloo from Oriole Limited. He's a suspension systems expert. They're here to tell us the importance of thinking about suspension of our vehicles. Any brand of motor vehicle that you're thinking of, that you're driving today, that you're thinking of buying, just take it to Oriole. They'll tell you how good the suspension is, and then they'll advise you what to do. Okay? So besides just the conversation about the springs and the shock, there are all these other things. Tire rod ends, bushes, racks, and the tires themselves. I mean, you go to a mechanic and they'll just throw anything, any word at you. Hizo tire rod ends, hizo ndio maana. When you're going to a mechanic, what should you listen out for? Or when you're driving a vehicle, what is it that you should be feeling so that you know, I can tell what's wrong with my car?
Most of the time, the reasons why people visit mechanics is because maybe someone was hearing a certain noise from the car. Maybe the car was bouncy, or maybe he has checked his service tag and he's found that the car requires service. Those are things that take you to the mechanic. But it is important that when you reach your mechanic, you request him to also help you check your car and find out if there's still some other causes of defects in the vehicle. And a number of times you will find that people are misled. And that was the reason why we introduced even the Muller test that Peter talked about, just to give you the accuracy of the condition of your shocks. And at the same time, when you want to know whether the shocks are on, there are 3 different signs. There will either be a leakage that is visibly seen. There will be a noise maybe coming from when you are driving, or there might be a malfunction on the shock, which means that the rebound and the compression is not working properly. Those are very important. But when it comes to coil springs,
So when you press the vehicle down, assuming it's a small vehicle, and you compress down, it doesn't
bounce the way.
bounce back.
Yes. But when it comes to coil springs, the 2 or 3 signs of a worn-out coil spring will always be seen on someone that has already fitted the spacers to achieve the height, or the car is stiff and is not, the compression is compromised, or there is a bulging at the back of the car. Wherever you carry someone, the car sags, and it's like it is riding on tires. Yeah, those are the signs of weak coil springs. Very, very important to check. But a number of times I tell my clients that you just don't fit what you want to fit on the car. It's always important to fit what the car needs. And that is the most important part of checking the car before you do anything.
What happens if you don't replace them?
It will always compromise the stability, the safety of your car.
How? You know why I ask it in this manner?
Yeah.
It's because oftentimes accidents happen on the road.
Yeah.
Because of the unworthiness of a vehicle at a certain level.
Yes.
There may have been things that have happened that have been ignored over time, and you hear a certain sound, you're not quite sure, should I tinker with this or what should I do? You know if your vehicle is not operating at optimal level, you know.
Yes.
So sometimes you also can ignore it, isn't it? And you say, well, okay, good golly, I'm not going to do this now, I can do it later. And so sometimes you don't replace a part, you don't replace something. What could happen to a vehicle, for example, if you do not replace it? You can hear the sound, but you can ignore it, right? Because how long will you be in the car, isn't it?
That's a very important question. You know, when it comes to shocks, a shock absorber plays a very vital role on a car. And most of the major accidents that we face, most of the time, we face them due to the worn-out shocks or malfunctioning shock absorbers. Because with the shocks, you will have a good stopping. We have a safety triangle within our frameworks tutorial that will show you what benefits the shock will always give you. It will give you a good stopping, it gives you a good steering and stability. And if this safety triangle is compromised in any one way or another, definitely you will anticipate accidents. Not only to yourself, also you can even be a major harm to.
You can veer off the road.
Yeah, and it will cause harm even to other motorists.
Okay, if I may add on that, you see, like you said, the discomfort starts with you. You can actually visibly, or notice that something is wrong. In general terms, worn-out shocks and all that will affect everything, from braking distance, vehicle stability, steering. We have what you call understeer or oversteer. It means you're not, stable around the corners and all that. On bumpy roads, again, it's more pronounced. The bumpiness, all these things. The vehicle is not actually having the right traction on the road. So all these things actually compromise your safety on the road.
To add on to many things. Moving on away now from suspension, Jack Motors, Peter. I've seen the double cab pickup.
Yes.
And they opened the bonnet.
Yes.
And there was no engine.
Yes.
There was a whole lucky thing there that they said, okay, this is what is driving the car.
Yes.
Electric mobility is something that is gaining traction in this country.
Yes.
So just tell us and introduce us to this Jack Motors double cab electric.
Thank you so much. And I think I'll go beyond by thanking the Standard Group being at the forefront of the green energy, in Kenya. And we've been good partners this far. Basically, the world is going green, and we are privileged to have this model in Kenya, which is fully electric driven. Obviously, people remember way back, people were automatic cars from manual transition.
Yeah.
That fear that it won't take me where I want. What I want to say is that it is
or
fully,
that the gearbox will,
it'll snap, something like that. Yeah. So we have similar concerns. However, I think because there's availability of knowledge these days, very many platforms for information dissemination, the traction is really fast, and also we have government also supporting the whole green energy movement through support like the 10% excise duty as opposed to 25 to make it more affordable for more people to have the uptake. Currently, the reception is very good, both from individuals and the government itself, where even the Kengen have already purchased some units from us. And it is for obvious reasons. Number one, obviously being environmentally friendly. Number two, it is cost friendly. We've done the maths that for a full charge, particularly for a pickup, which will take you to up to 350 kilometers, you immediately save up to 4,000 shillings of the equivalent fuel that you'd have put for that range of kilometers. Given an average vehicle, pickup or double cab does 40,000 a year. We calculate that one that it actually adds up to
40,000 kilometers.
Yeah, and it actually turns to be around 250,000, 250,000 that you're saving, and over 5 years, it translates to 2.6 million shillings savings over time. So you see, over time, you are saving immediate cost, and long term even more. Also, the issue of service. Ordinarily, you take your vehicle for service, or that periodically after 5,000.
Yep.
With the Jack Electric, you don't need all that. Okay.
What do you mean?
Yes.
So the ordinary service, I'll change the oil.
5,000. Yeah.
I'll change the filters.
Yeah.
I'll change the spark plugs.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any of this in the electric.
Yeah. Not doing any of those in your electric
So
vehicle.
you're saying it doesn't need servicing?
It does need servicing. You check
suspension.
your brakes, you check your suspension, you check your hubs, those kind of things. But we see now there's a whole component of the drivetrain that, which was a major component of service, the engine and the gearbox. Yeah.
Where are we charging these vehicles?
We supply them with the chargers. However, Kenyans,
Type C,
Can I borrow yours?
There are several types. The commercial, there's one that will do 3 hours, another 8 hours, another 16 hours. Basically, we're supplying them with the chargers. However, you have seen Kenyans run away with these new developments by installing their own chargers. Major towns already, private investors installing chargers all over in major shopping malls like their center, all that. So wherever you go, then you find a charging port.
Peter,
All you have.
I'll just pause for a single second.
Yes.
Electricity, you're charging it, steamer. Yes. Okay. Why do you need a special place to charge it, and yet we have electricity in our houses? Why can't I just have provide me
an
with
extension
that
cable,
extension cable,
Get
so
home,
that
charge
when
your
I
phone,
park it,
charge your car.
like as I'm charging my phone, I also charge my car.
Yeah, it is provided, and you can actually do that, only that it takes longer. So that's why we encourage. Why? Because the fast charger, just like first of all, it's expensive, almost $500,000. Number two, requires electricity to be 3-phase, which is not found everywhere. And that's why where there's 3-phase, like now I've mentioned charging stations that people are installing, you find out there the fast chargers, the commercial DC fast chargers.
These fast chargers, what do they have? Do they have a step-up transformer that
Yes.
enables? That's what they have.
Yes, to enable them charge very fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Peter, how fast are we talking about here? So you're going down the highway, you can see that your needle, if it was fuel, right,
Yeah.
is going towards, you need to go obviously and fuel your car.
Yes.
The same thing I would imagine that you see a chargeometer in your vehicle and you can see where the charge is.
Exactly.
And you're in the middle of something.
And you're All right, okay, you're in Savo.
Yes.
Yeah, you're in Savo.
Where are you going, and how long does it take to at least get you to? Now, what do you say? Half charge? I have 50%.
Half charge.
And how long will it take you? I don't know if that question is jumbled.
I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
The thing is, just like the fuel, you'll be observing the level, okay, as you travel and all that, and plan accordingly. Yes, you're in Savo, and there's no charging station. Then you'll need to use the home charger, what you call the emergency charger,
Backup charger.
which is in the vehicle, but it take longer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long?
Sorry,
is a
no,
full
it was
tank?
the same question. Yes.
How long is a full tank? Full charge? On the vehicle, how long is a full charge taking you in terms of kilometers?
350 kilometers.
350 kilometers.
Currently, but we know
On the double cab jack pickup.
on the double cab jack pickup.
Okay.
But we know the rapid development around the electric batteries for electric powered vehicles.
Yeah.
We have been from hybrid doing just 60 kilometers, then 100 kilometers. We are 350 very fast. And we anticipate actually by September we'll get a battery that can get you to up to 500 kilometers. That effectively up to Mombasa.
But so if you're charging domestically, you say it will take long.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long?
How long from zero to full charge
Yes.
will take you around 16 hours. However, ordinarily, you won't be charging your vehicle from zero. Yeah, particularly if you are,
you're
running.
just a town runner.
Yeah, you're town running, or not every day is a safari day.
Yeah.
And then you find also a lot of them are commercial vehicles, maybe distribution.
Yeah.
Like you distributing papers here and all that. You could use our trucks and the vans. You also have the vans coming. So, I mean, you rarely do 300 kilometers in a day.
And how much do these the electricity petrol stations where you charge your vehicle?
Yes.
How do they charge, or how do they determine what it is to charge, how to charge, and what you're charging, and how much is it?
Kilowatts, they measure the kilowatts. For instance, I think I've got figures here. 1 kilowatt will cost you about 25 shillings.
How do I know a kilowatt is a kilowatt?
There's a measure. There's a meter there.
Who
to
makes
read.
that measure? Because
How do you know, City, a liter
how
is a
do I
liter?
know that it's a kilowatt?
How do you know a liter is a liter when you're fueling your vehicle today?
Because I can see the liquid, and there's a measure.
You can see the liquid.
Yes, I can see the liquid,
Where?
especially when I put
in the
it
tank?
in a 5-liter jerrycan.
No, you're fueling your car, boss. You open the thing at the back, you're sitting in your car.
Oh, that's easy.
How do you know
Oh, that's easy.
a liter
That's
is a
easy
liter?
because of the use.
Yeah.
I've used, it's lived experience.
Yeah.
When I am told it is 5 liters, I have an idea how long that car will run. I know. Okay? And it's experience over a period of time. And in a younger time, when some of the gadgets in the vehicle I had then didn't work, it was always important to have support system in the boot. So I knew that this was 3 liters of vehicle, of fuel.
So also use the gauge, right?
Yeah, no.
Sometimes when
sometimes the gauge
when
wasn't
it's half,
working.
when it's half liter, I know. I mean, when it's 2 liters, I know how far the gauge moves.
Yes.
And you're also reading
Yes.
But mostly you trust the pump. You see the pump.
No.
looking at-
That's the point. No. This thing is new, and you see, we are being held at ransom here because I actually don't know. Everything you're telling me, I'm supposed to go by faith. Okay? That when you say
it's fully charged.
it's fully charged with 10 kilometers, kilowatts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is what is in the car. So
Yeah.
I will drive it until it stops. Then I will know the 10 kilowatts are now over.
Yes, the thing is, okay, assumption of goodwill is good, but also remember the car also has got it's also metered the gauge inside. It will show you exactly what is happening inside.
It will show me.
Yeah, the number of say liters. It will also
Shows you full bar.
It will rise.
It will rise.
It rises.
Yeah, and then
Kilowatt liters.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
even
yeah,
as
kilowatts,
I add,
yeah.
it's just
the
bar.
the level of charge and the balance will show everything else.
okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much they charge per kilowatt?
Yes.
How much?
25
About 25 shillings.
And how many do you need to fill your tank?
Like for me,
Yes.
I
Full
need
charge.
25 and no 65, and that will set you back just 1,000 shillings, 1,600 shillings.
1,600
Yeah.
And it's
takes
taking
you
for 350
380.
kilometers.
Yes.
So essentially it's 25 shillings per liter. That thing is cheap.
Buana.
Born.
Equivalent fuel would be 6,000. Now do the difference. I would say just that trip.
It can't be 6,000 bus for a pickup.
Sorry, no, yeah. Remember our pickup
It's more.
is a 2-liter Euro 4 engine
Yes.
that is capable of taking you up to 18 kilometer per liter. That's another advantage that we have.
So the petrol equivalent of this is what you're saying. The diesel equivalent
of this,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
It would be around 6,000 to go that distance. And I've spent 1,500. So the savings right away, one trip is 4,500.
That's a lot. That's quite something.
Yeah.
That's quite something. Where can people actually get to interact with this car?
We are doing every effort through our online platforms, marketing platforms. Your partners, the Diga Motor Show was coming.
Yes.
So these are the platforms that we are using to create awareness. And like I said, the reception is very good so far.
How can one come and test drive an electric car?
We'll give our contacts, and you just need to book online or through the phone, and we'll arrange a test drive for you.
How far am I allowed to test drive it?
As far as is sufficient to give you the confidence that you need.
Peleka hivi, peleka mpaka iishe battery.
Yeah, go a bit of rough road. You have customers demanding all sorts of things. Peleka kwa mlima,
Yes.
because they also don't trust it till climb the
peak and all.
Yeah, the initial doubts.
So are there differences in performance? Apart from just fuel consumption, are there differences in performance between an electric vehicle and a diesel petrol vehicle?
I would say none. If you want acceleration, you get it. If you want power, if you want torque,
But
it is.
we are
yes,
told they're silent.
Yeah. Obviously, the difference would be in other efficiencies like no environmental pollution. What else? Like performance in high altitude. High altitude affects the level of consumption in the fossil fuel combustion engines. This one is not affected. You don't have to
And if say I'm crossing a river,
boom. All of this flooding.
yes,
Yeah.
na hii ni electricity,
Yes.
what happens?
Yes. Electrocuted. The definite answer is no. You need to be electrocuted. Okay. The manufacturer.
Stima. Unaweza kuwa unakaa kwa gari inakupatia shock,
Yeah.
na ni gari ni yako.
The manufacturer has taken care of both these, likely incidences, and there's enough, obviously, safety features installed around the battery, fully insulated. Not only that, what if there's an accident, a crash? Let's spark some serious.
Yeah.
Remember, this is high voltage.
Yep.
That is, to push that kind of vehicle is a high voltage. Will there be a spark that will generate a fire? So obviously there are cut-off switches installed on the car in case of the accident, so that they cut off the battery completely.
Peter, before you go, I want to tell us a little bit about the agricultural aspect of your business.
Agricultural aspect of our business is mainly in Uganda. Where we have a Uganda Tea Corporation, one of the biggest tea producers in Uganda. That's our major agricultural business is this. Yeah.
So you don't have agricultural equipment, these earth-moving equipment and things like that.
No, just tea farming and marketing.
Tea farming and marketing.
Yeah.
Does Subaru have electric cars?
Yes, they have, but we don't have yet them here in this market. But we expect by 2025 should have them. We have the Subaru Solterra, but currently basically just for Japanese market.
Hey,
You also sell motorbikes.
But not yet. But in Uganda used to sell, but we stopped. Yeah.
Electric or
No,
petrol?
Petrol. But you see, everybody is going electric. If you look at the Kenyan market right now, I think motorbikes are almost 30% electric. And what happens in Uganda, Kenya, basically will follow in Uganda.
So what do they do with the old engines? Because there's a replacement story we keep hearing.
Yeah.
So what happens with the old engines?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know about it. Yeah.
It sounds like a business opportunity.
Skref.
Actually,
Now, I think you asked about the new Outback.
Yes.
I would like to mention something very small about the new Outback.
Please.
Basically, the Subaru lineup. Obviously, people are used to Subarus that running and all that, those kind of things. But
Not running,
the current
running very fast.
running very fast and causing accidents. So that now, I think our platform currently is enjoyment and peace of mind. where we talk about confidence in motion. And now all Subarus come with the eyesight, driver assist function,
Right.
where the vehicle cannot hit a pedestrian or a motorcycle, because if the driver doesn't act, then the system kicks in and actually applies automatic braking.
Oh, nice.
And if it figures out that automatic braking alone won't help the vehicle and avoid the incident, it can actually auto-swerve.
Oh.
And driver monitoring to keep you alert and guiding you how to drive the vehicle. So I'll be engaging you.
And this is available.
It is, yeah.
We can actually come to Subaru
Across.
Kenya
Yeah.
and we'll be able to see
Yes.
the vehicle,
Yes.
interact with the vehicle,
Yes.
test drive the vehicle.
Yeah.
Tunakuja.
Karibuni.
Peter
Yeah.
Kimathi is the brand manager at Ekta Kenya, the company behind Subaru Kenya, Jack Photos and Oreo Limited, and Charles Oloo is a suspension systems expert.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.